Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk It Out and Find Out, the podcast where we dive into everything that's on your mind. Join me, your host, Dee Lene, as we keep it real, keep it casual, and explore today's trendiest topics. Whether you're looking for solutions, insights, and a little inspiration, this is the space where curiosity meets conversation. So welcome. Today we have a special guest on the show, and we're going to be talking about first year in college. We have Day Roberts.
Hello.
And our podcast episode is entitled Starting Edition, Friends, Fears, and Freshman Year. Day is my daughter, and we talked a little bit about after she had completed her first year, just coming on the show and giving us her experience, her good, her bad, and her ugly, and just kind of talking through those things and seeing how it made her feel. And so she agreed to do that. So Day, let's get right into it, okay? The first question is, what was your biggest expectation going into college, and how did reality compare? And before you answer that, I want to kind of tell the audience that this is not only a question for her, but it's also me thinking about her going to college and being an empty nester and her not being here and how I was going to adjust. So I know that it was hard for me to adjust at first, but you going in, was it everything you thought it was going to be? And if it wasn't, how did it compare against what you thought it was going to be?
Well, I always thought I had the personality of someone who didn't really know how to look after themselves, how to do things for themselves, because my mom,
I'm your mom.
You're my mom, yes, sheltered me a lot, which is like, I do not have any like animosity or hate for that, because there's a lot of my peers and friends who have gone through traumatizing experiences that I thankfully haven't had to go through, and it's honestly like I was protected, and I appreciate that like a lot.
Welcome.
Yes. But to get to the point, I didn't think I was going to be able to adjust pretty well to campus life, college life, all of that. I thought that I was, again, going to be helpless. I was probably going to have a lot of breakdowns, going to be crying. Like, what do I do? Like, how am I going to even be able to sleep here?
Right. And it just displayed a good amount of courage on your part. Because I saw you and you went in and I saw the deep breaths and I took deep breaths.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're doing this. Are we doing this? Are we here? So I really appreciate that you at least tried it. And I would have been completely okay if you tried it and didn't like it, being that I signed you up and you didn't sign yourself up. I did that, right? I was like, you're going to college, But at the same time, I think it was amazing how, from my perspective or from my view, you went in and you were like, hey, I kind of like this. This is kind of cool. I got my own place. I'm like, I ain't got to see that lady. She ain't got to tell me to get up and do the dishes.
Oh my gosh.
I was a dishes Nazi, y'all. She says I'm OCD. I really am not OCD.
You are. It's hereditary.
I'm not. But anyway, I just like my dishes done. But yeah, so I really appreciate you giving it a whirl and then finding out that, go figure, you really liked it.
Yeah.
So let's get into describing that first day. I know how I felt when I dropped you off, but let's just fast forward after I dropped you off to campus and you had a full night within your dorms. And what was going through your mind?
I was like, well, what am I gonna do with myself, basically? Because my roommate hadn't appeared yet. I had all the space to myself, so I was actually just calling a bunch of people, like showing off my dorm, saying, guys, I'm here by myself. I'm kind of scared, but college life. And
right.
Yeah.
It was new, right?
Yes.
And I'm glad, like I said, you did it. It's an experience, and now you're like an old pro after 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year later, and you're like an old pro. And not even a year later, but it's 2 semesters later.
Well, almost a year. And a few months,
but you had it's in college years.
That's
a year.
Right. Yeah.
It's a freshman year, but that's good. And it just you'll see when you get to your senior year how it molds you, and you'll see the difference between the woman that you are in your freshman year versus your senior year. That'll come up before you know it. So another question, how did you feel meeting your roommate? Well, first, before we get into your roommate, the conditions of the dorms, like when you got into the dorms, was there a big difference from having your room
Hmm.
and then navigating from your room and being in a house with your parents and then going into, or your parent,
I
and
said
then
have parents.
did you have two parents?
Oh,
One
yeah.
parent, no shade, but parent,
Yeah. No.
and then going into a dorm situation where you're like in a in a building with a bunch of your peers. So the conditions of the dorms, were they satisfactory? Were you okay with them? I know, like, how do they look? Like, explain to the folks, like, how
Gotcha.
everything looked to you, and was it something you were able to navigate? I was able to give you all of the things. I tried to think of everything that you may need,
Hmm.
because the cooking situation is different. It's not like you can come downstairs
Yeah.
and eat out of the refrigerator. You had a, they had small size, half of the half, how did you, all of that? Just tell us about it.
Well, if you think you've seen a mini fridge before, you've never seen this fridge. That was in that dorm.
Because we have a mini fridge, but it's like not that small.
I have a friend Kai. Her mini fridge is bigger than that mini fridge
Right.
that they've given to me. The dorms had given to me, basically.
So they give you what?
We're given so in different dorms, there's kind of like different appliances that they can give you. There are three different dorms that freshmen can choose from. It's called the Oaks, Centerpoint Suites, and University Suites, and there are three different versions of University Suites. So one of them is a pet-friendly dorm, by the way.
Mhm.
So, and
One
the
of them is a pet friendly dorm.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
a pet-friendly dorm. So the Oaks and Centerpoint are very similar in the way of the stuff that they give you. In Centerpoint, the one that I was in, it had that mini fridge. It had a microwave, but that was sitting on top of it. It only had one sink, so a sink that you would have to use for like, you don't even have a kitchen sink. It was just a sink
Mhm.
with cabinet space and all of that. A closed off toilet and shower, stand up shower together in a little space
Mhm.
and
A little room with
little
a
room.
door.
Yeah, and the actual like place where you sleep, your roommate, you can basically be facing them when you sleep, and there is no wall or separation between you two.
Okay, so that gives us an idea of what the room looks like. So, how did you feel when you first met your roommate? How was that feeling, like just meeting her for the first time? What was your reaction, and what was the interaction, rather?
She made me feel very welcomed, and I was very happy that she had this person, like she had this very bubbly personality when I met her, and I was like, wow, okay. I kind of don't feel like I'm alone, at least for right now, because I did have a friend that, was on campus with me,
Hmm.
but we weren't that, especially that close at the time. So, like, you're living with somebody that you don't know. So you're just like, oh my gosh, who is this person? Especially if you struggle with anxiety. It's new, and new is scary for a lot of people.
Right. And so you said you struggle with anxiety. Did you have this anxiety before you came into the campus, or was this something that you acquired when you got on campus?
When I was still at home, the anxiety was kind of like in the back of my mind, lingering only a little bit because I have a tendency to like try to push things down until they're there, not to worry myself because that stresses me out more.
Mhm.
And I got that from you. I don't like being stressed out.
So you had the anxiety. So do you think that anxiety, you said the anxiety was there before you came into school. Was this something that you were dealing with in high school? So let's go back and do the comparison between how you felt in high school versus how you feel like now in college. So you're coming out of high school and you're transitioning into college with the anxiety.
Hmm.
So the level of anxiety that you had in high school, was it based on your social activity? Was it based on classes? Let's talk about that first. And how did you navigate and manage through that anxiety from high school and then transitioning into college?
Well, at least for the high school I was in, it's a difference between being in a military compound and basically being able to run butt booty naked in the woods.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So then, and again, I didn't know any of that. I
Hmm.
didn't know you were dealing with that anxiety. I know we had some things that we worked through,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of you because now you've gotten through it and you understand, that you do have support and that you can talk to people and have those real life conversations, and they don't have to be with the same person. Those have to be me, but you just learned to trust yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that you don't take on other people's things. You
Hmm.
take on what you need to do, and then it's almost like save yourself first. Like if you're on a plane, you
Hmm.
put your mask on first and then you're able to save someone else.
Yeah.
And I feel like from the transition, you've kind of understand that now.
I've definitely grown in that aspect because a lot of my anxiety before, yes, was like social anxiety. I couldn't even talk in front of people without like, what is it, my words breaking, feeling choked up. But now I literally say hi to random people that I meet on the street, just like complimenting
Oh
them,
yeah, you a G
striking
right
up.
now. You
Yeah, I'm
be
a
on
G.
campus
I'm a
like,
G.
yo, I'm like, okay, you
Strike
know.
up full
Yeah,
conversations
that's
with
my I
people.
know her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's good because you see the progression and your understanding about life. You're understanding that life is full of progressions. Like if you just try it, if you just kind of understand how you can navigate through, especially when it comes to emotions. And being so young, you don't always know that. Like I know I've been through several iterations of things. I've seen many different variations of things. So I kind of, if I don't know how it's going to play out, I'm ignoring it. You know what I'm saying? Because I really have been through almost every scenario, whether it be relationships romantically or whether it be relationships with friendships. I've seen everything. So and it has to be your own experience. And so I feel like you've embraced it. Like I said, we had some hiccups before. Like I said, I'm very proud of you just navigating through that, being brave enough to understand that maybe I need to get help, for some things. And let's talk about that. Like, what did you do? You got some counseling. How do you feel about the counseling and how did that help you bridge the gap? And we're digressing, but I want to kind of get into that because I want people to understand that it's okay to be doubtful about things and talk outside of your parents.
Hmm.
You be able to seek other means of help.
Yeah.
So when you went through those things, did you feel getting counseling was something that helped you to navigate through that feeling
Hmm.
that you were having?
Even though the therapy was it was consistent until it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
it still helped me quite a bit with just like having another like an unbiased person especially listen to what you're saying and like what is it, commenting on it in a professional sense, especially, and like having that professional basis to back it up, what you're saying. And even if like saying if you're going about something wrong, they will tell you that. But if
Mm-hmm.
you like things you need to work on, things will saying, well, that wasn't right that happened to you, blah blah blah.
Right. And they should be being objective and hopefully they have kids of their own so they understand it from that perspective.
Yeah.
But all parents go through things with their children. I learned a lot. I was able to understand that you were growing. I was always that protective mother. And I learned that I have to allow her to understand her feelings and navigate through those feelings. So,
Hmm.
and I digress, but we got through that. And now it seems like you're navigating. I fall back,
Hmm.
you sometimes you tell me mind your business, and I mind my business. I go and okay,
I appreciate
not
it.
my business, not my business, and I do give you your space, but that took some time for me as well. But I appreciate you being open and transparent to me because I'm the cool mom. Like I can understand those things, but if I don't know them, I'm going to go into protective mode
Hmm.
and thinking something's wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like that with all relations. I'm like that with romantic relations. Like I don't know until I know. Like you have to tell me those things, and I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah,
So
of course.
we got through the roommate thing, and then you had a hiccup with the roommate.
I
You got
did.
in, and you got in there. She was nice to you at first. Blah blah blah. Let's get up to speed with where we were.
Hmm.
And then there were some events that happened. So through those events that happened, and we'll do the short version
Hmm.
of it. You felt that she was maybe, what was her temperament after the fact? Like, was she disrespectful? Was she a person that understood what was going on and she was amicable? Like, what were some things? Just give me maybe a working example of something that happened
Hmm.
and you had to navigate through it. And then how were you able to resolve it
Well,
for yourself?
again, like it was a series of events that eventually led to me understanding the type of person that she was, and to give the very quick version of everything would bring over lots of visitors, would not be respectful of that shared space that we had, even though we had boundaries put in place at first, the first week actually, and she broke basically all of them. Um, what's it called, had me running errands for her at some times, to be honest, that I shouldn't have done because that's not respectful to myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and basically I'll tell you one story about what happened, and because it's the one that actually breaks my heart the most, we got cats one time,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have my cat. Um, what is it? We named them Queso and Adonis, and winter break was coming up, and at this point in time, we were starting to really fall off. So I had some place for my cat to go, but she didn't. And I heard her talking to bunches of people saying, "Can you take Adonis? Can you take Adonis? I don't have anywhere for him to go." And I was just like, well, I was saying in my head to myself, if you hadn't been such a bitch,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly would have taken him for you, and like, because I know my friend wouldn't have had any problem with taking Adonis as well as Queso.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because you knew you couldn't bring queso home.
I know I could not bring you don't like cats, so
Queso couldn't come here.
no.
Nope, nope, nope,
So
nope.
I figured that out by myself. Like, my stuff was good,
Mm-hmm.
but so over the break, I was just thinking, really hope he found some place to go. I came back and I didn't see Adonis anywhere in the
Mm-hmm.
dorm. That
Mm-hmm.
was the first red flag that went off. And so I asked when I was bringing all my stuff back, um, hey, where's Adonis at? She told me that, oh, Adonis is living with a few of my cousins, like some of my cousins. I believed her at first, but I was just like, I really, I'm glad that he went to a good home, is what I told her. And so I had this lingering feeling of not believing her, but I really just wanted to because I love Adonis so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to
Yeah,
make
you
sure
had
he was
drawn really
okay.
close to both
At that
cats.
point, he was my cat,
Right.
to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, because she is a party girl, so
Yeah,
she'd be out
that's a good
partying,
thing.
and I would spend the most time with him, to be
Right.
honest, and he would sleep in my bed most of the time.
And
So
you would say that both cats were like an emotional support for you
I definitely
because
would.
you love animals,
Yeah.
right? Lord knows we went through several iterations of dogs. I don't know
Yeah, I
why.
that helped me realize I'm not a dog person, I'm a
No,
cat person,
I
actually.
think I think you're both, but I just think that you weren't mature enough to really handle the
Yeah.
responsibility of an animal and yourself, your
A
day-to-day
dog is
needs.
genuinely like a little
Yeah, it's a
infant.
lot more work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? So to wrap it up,
To wrap it up, what's it called? I didn't see him. So fast forward, she kicks me out of my dorm. I didn't want to stay there. Heidi
you
kicks
guys
me.
had
Yeah,
words.
we had words. Heidi kicks
You
me out
didn't
of
know
their own
where
dorm.
Adonis was,
Didn't know.
and
Yeah.
so
Oh wait.
once you had words, where did you go after that?
I went to my friend's dorm and I slept there for 2 weeks. But then I was trying to get my own dorm, and she sent me a 5 paragraph text explaining how I shouldn't even be in the dorm and how I should not be living there and how I shouldn't even have the key.
Right.
So I went to my RA, and so the RA on duty at the time came down.
Right.
And she also told me, to wrap all of this up, that she had let Adonis go to be a stray in
Right.
the dead of winter.
So that really set you off. And so what did you do once the you talked with the RA?
Hmm.
What was the final outcome of that?
Well, I tried to hold myself together and I was just like, well, I need a new dorm. I've been asking for a new dorm for a couple weeks at this point, and no one has reached out to me. So she told me, I got you. And in the next probably few days, like 3 days or so, I had my new dorm.
So that's wonderful. See,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted you to get at. I knew this end of the story, but I wanted everybody else to hear it. That was something that you will always remember. It
Hmm.
is a life lesson that you remember because the whole moral of the story is that didn't work for you. And when things don't work for you, you have to navigate toward what does work for you. It doesn't always pan out to be something that you like. It may
Yeah.
be an uncomfortable situation until you get to somewhere where you can kind of be okay. But I like that you called me
Hmm.
and you know I was relaxing.
Yeah.
I was I don't I don't know what I was doing, but I was in a really relaxed state that
Hmm.
night. I remember talking to you because I was home and I just said, "Hey, I think you got this."
Hmm.
And you did. And the next call was like, "I got a new dorm." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes."
Yeah.
And you did it all by yourself. So that's the point, and that's what I wanted to get at. Good job. So the next topic that I'm going to go into is about making friends,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So how did you actually make your first real college friend? Like outside of, because I know you had some friends that transitioned from high school.
Yeah.
So then, like, just the first college friend, the first person outside of the roommate, outside of
Yeah. Yeah.
like the a person that's your friend probably now that wasn't your friend before you got there.
Hmm.
How did you guys meet? How did you navigate into doing that? Like, just real briefly.
Yeah. So my first friend that I made, their name's Atlas. I thought that I hadn't made Atlas as my friend, like by myself, but they actually told me, no, I like you as a person, and you made me your friend all by yourself. And that was basically just by interacting with them and everything. And we used to eat lunch together every day, would work on our art projects and everything, and that's how like we drew closer together.
And let's go back. I think we never told the audience like what you're in school for.
Oh, okay.
Like I jumped the gun, but we're going to do this backwards. But I want to kind of go through and talk about what you're majoring in school.
Okay, yeah. So I at some point in high school I decided I want to go to school for art. So right now I'm trying to get my BFA in animation, and I eventually want to start my own studio. And I actually made another friend, his name is Tidian. He is going to, what is it, own the studio with me as well.
Okay. You guys got plans already. So when you say you're going to get a studio, what are
Mhm.
you guys going to feature in the studio?
So we're trying to work on stories now so that when we eventually get our own studio, that we can immediately just like, start pushing out content and everything.
Hmm.
So he has a story that he has been working on for about a year or so, and I have a story that I just started with what is it, a few of my friends, and I'm actually putting them in the story as well. Um, so that I can, what is it? Yeah.
So what would you, so you say you have a studio. What would the studio, how would the studio, how would it be set up to feature those stories? Like how would that look? Walk us down that road.
What do you mean?
Like you said, you're going to get a studio together. So if people come into the studio, are you going to sell your stories? Are you going to display some type of exhibit within your studio that people can come see?
I would, what is it? It would be like more of an indie thing, to be honest. We would try to work our way up to like be like the big guns like Mappa or Studio Trigger or whatever.
Oh, you're talking over my head.
Oh, my bad. For those who know, those are animation studios, very popular
Oh,
ones.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying to get at. Like I've never seen an animation studio. I don't even know, like I'm
Oh, you
artsy
don't?
myself. So
Gotcha.
but I'm more in the realm of music and writing and
Mm-hmm.
production,
I gotcha.
Um
So to set the scene for you, it is basically you're drawing frames. That's all it is. So
oh,
you're drawing frames. That's what the studio is. There's storyboarding for the story and everything and how you put that together and how each panel like lays out one after another. So you would have storyboard artists and you would also have people who are like what is it actually doing sketches and also what is it lining it to get the final result of that actual animation.
see, I told you I was going to learn something. I had no idea. You think you know somebody.
Yeah, that's a shortened version of it. You also have composers and people who do special effects, all that. But yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. I wish you guys the best with that.
thank you.
So, what advice would you give someone struggling to connect in their first semester?
I would say, because I know it is hard for some people to come outside of themselves, especially again if you're dealing with that anxiety aspect, even when you're getting older and you just don't really know how to go about what is it, quelling it. I would genuinely just say it's like a leap of faith. You genuinely need to like it's hard to push past the anxiety, but if you meet the right person, they will understand. Like my friends, the friends that I met on campus, unfortunately, they're not there anymore. They had to leave, but the friends that I met were just as quirky as me, and we all got along very well. I met them separately. We all became friends together. So it's really just about like what's it called? What is it? Just trying. It's trying different activities with them also. Try like studying together, eating together especially works. But is it working on projects, all of that stuff. And maybe even like watching movies because that's what we do all the time when we're on
Right.
campus.
So, speaking of the dining hall, I know that eating, meals are very challenging.
Oh
It's
my
just a side, I know.
God.
But I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I want to talk about is it's hard to maintain a specific diet because y'all some broke college students. Y'all broke.
Yeah.
Y'all just broke. You're my little broke best friend. But and it's hard to maintain that. And I know that a lot of people don't know this because I didn't know this. But your first year, you have to maintain a meal plan. They like to just throw a meal plan at you.
Yeah,
I got my
$2,000
bill and I
meal
was
plan. Oh
like,
my gosh.
2,000 extra dollars for a meal plan. Like, oh, it's there. You have to pay for it. So we worked that out.
Hmm.
I know that you didn't like a lot of what's there, but just kind of walk us through what food is there and how it varies and how you're able to navigate through
Hmm.
that from not only just navigate through it, but just from a healthy healthy food perspective, how that works for you.
I gotcha. So to again set the scene, if you are struggling with your weight, you are probably going to lose more, and if you're not, you're probably going to lose, which is very unfortunate for some people. Because if there are not a lot of food options, and at my campus, there are two different dining halls that are there. There's West Commons and there's East Commons.
And this, I'm sorry, this is at what
University of West
okay,
Georgia.
because we never said that either.
Oh, we didn't.
She
Oops.
goes to University of West Georgia, UWG. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Go Wolves. Yeah. Go Wolves. Go West. But there's they have sort of the same things, but it's different. So to talk about West, because it's kind of like it's the second option basically for a lot
Mhm.
of people
Mhm.
because they
That's the
usually
West
y-
cafeteria
yeah,
or
the
the West dining hall.
West dining hall.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have that many options. It has the same thing, every single time as well as East does, but they usually have there's a quesadilla bar, there is pasta bowls, there's pizza, sandwiches. Sometimes they have different options like maybe like a soul food day or like a Mex like
That's pretty interesting. What would be on the soul food menu?
it's fried chicken, mac and
Okay.
cheese,
Go ahead.
okra. No, literally. Anyways.
Is it good?
No.
Oh, so
Yeah.
hopeful.
They have the same thing
Hmm.
a lot of the time. And then East Commons, which is what is it called? It's near the what's it called? The Oaks, and we call the Oaks the place for rich people.
Oh, okay.
Called the rich
We
people.
don't stay in there, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. I'm actually on the West End, which is the one for brokies,
It's
but
the hood.
it's the hood. It's the hood. Yeah.
In the hood. Y'all got.
My suite looks like a psych ward on the inside,
Don't say
but
that. It
it
doesn't.
it
Go ahead.
does. Anyways,
So,
as I digress, it's what is it? East Commons has its selling point is the hibachi that it has. It also has another sandwich stand, which is a lot better than the one at West. It has hamburgers, hot dogs, fried stuff, a lot of fried foods. There's pizza, and that is about it for that.
so if you had your choice,
Hmm.
what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to have because I know this is your freshman year, they made you do it. So going forward, what would be an option for you? Because I know you talked about leaving the dorms, going into an apartment.
Yeah.
And then what would be an option for you? What would be your first option? In other words, what would you pick?
Well, first off, I would never get another meal plan again because I don't use it, and that's the honest truth. Like I've been trying to use it more because you said and even my friends said you have this meal plan
Yeah,
and we're a
a lot
little
of money
upset at
for
you
it.
because
I
you
would appreciate you using it.
yeah, we're a little
Yeah,
upset at you because you don't use it and these friends actually don't have a meal plan,
right.
which is why they said that and they gave me that concern.
And
But
you go and you get everybody
and
food.
then I get everybody food
I'm
from
okay with
there.
that because I mean I
Yeah,
know that,
it's a buffet, so it's not like it's coming out of
but
pocket.
I appreciate that because I've paid for it, and so
It's getting used.
I want it to get used.
Yeah.
I do.
To be
You
fair, I
know,
would not to defend myself, I would do that anyways. I would always go
yeah,
get the
I
food.
don't have any objection to that.
Yeah.
So you not want a meal plan going forward. What would be the other alternative for you?
I would definitely just want to have a certain amount of money I get each week for groceries and I talk to you and have them delivered to my dorm because that seems like a better option for me than going to like the dining hall because what's it called? I like if there's a food that I don't like, it's really hard for me to get it down and like not have a mental block like even in my throat to eat it. Like it's
Right.
literally like I can't even get it down.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So yeah, and everybody has their preference. Some people really like the dining hall. Some people
Yeah.
do it, but it's also a time-consuming thing.
Oh, there's another thing.
What?
I don't like meat and vegetables very much, but that's most of what they have. So it's just like
That's a diet, meat and
it's
vegetables.
yeah, I know.
Protein, protein
I mean,
and carbohydrate.
I find my protein elsewhere.
Protein and simple carbs. I mean, I don't know what else you would eat.
I mean,
Snack foods? I don't know.
I try I get
What's another
chicken.
food you would eat besides those two things? I don't know.
I
Yeah.
mean, I try. That's
Okay.
all I can really say.
So, in saying that, that's something that you'll have to navigate through, and I think you do pretty good with it. You've adjusted because at
Mhm.
first it was a challenge to you. Um, and so, in saying all that, I wanted to ask this question. This is more of a personal question.
Mhm.
How did you overcome moments of homesickness, loneliness? Well, you didn't have loneliness because you have friends there, but did you have any imposter syndrome type things going on?
How I got over what is it? These moments. I did feel a little bit like lonely some of the time because it's just like, I mean, you're not going to be hanging out with your friends 24/7, and there are going to be moments where you're just by yourself and you're kind of bored. Um, for me, I would just kind of go to sleep, to be honest,
So
and
look
just,
where you learned that from, but go
yeah.
ahead.
Like, I mean, to sidebar, my mom always taught me that
If you're
if you're sleepy, if you're hungry, you eat. If
eat,
you're sleepy, you go to
go to
sleep.
sleep. If you're hungry, eat. If you're
Hmm.
sleepy, sleep. That's what I always taught her growing up.
And I learned another thing. I mean, and if you can't do any of those two, just find something to distract yourself with.
Right.
That works.
Music, a
Yeah.
book,
Hmm.
a game. I've always taught you that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, make don't make a situation worse by overthinking it.
Hmm.
Distract yourself.
Yeah, because the worst thing that you can do is get into your own head about things, and that makes you spiral, and that makes things so much worse.
Yeah.
So, that's how I overcome it. And I would also like talk with my friends a lot of the time, at least over the phone, and we would like it would be like a four-person call sometimes, and we were just hanging out over the phone. And I mean, for those who don't really have that option, again, distracting yourself is great. If you have a pet though, like honestly, because I have Queso, he's my emotional support animal. Some days I would just hug him and just
Mm.
like say, I love you, and kiss all over him, because I would just be like, you
I
know,
do that with my Build-A-Bear.
oh,
Yeah. It says he has a t-shirt. We've got them
oh
together.
yeah, we do.
My Build-A-Bear has a t-shirt. It says, "You're my person," because
Hmm.
my Build-A-Bear is my person. Yeah, and that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, I get that. I get that. And I
Um, oh, another thing, I
mhm.
would, if you're a person struggling with like any type of mental health stuff, I would genuinely recommend getting an emotional support animal because I have one, my friend Ash has one. She has a dog named Crescent, and Crescent has really helped her like a lot just
Mhm.
with like, what is it, getting up in the mornings and like, what is it, not feeling so down all of the time. And because I know for myself, sometimes I like forget about Queso's existence, but when I wake up the next morning and I hear like a meow, I'm just like, wow.
Wow. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing. Like when I had you, I felt like, man, like this is mine, and we did everything
Hmm.
together, and I had somebody to take care of, and um, that's why it was such a lot for me to have that separation from you. But yeah, you got to keep your grades up so you can stay up there. I need you to stay up there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Look, I need you to stay up there
Yeah.
because I need my home.
I got my pilgrim, don't worry.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, lessons learned. Uh, what's something you wish you could tell your freshman self?
Hmm. I would definitely say manage your time better.
Oh,
This goes for everyone. Manage your time better, and because the time that you have less.
gotcha.
Yeah. So it is a lot better to do things when like, and I know it's stressful, you have a bunch of classes. Well, because I have like had four or yeah, I had four classes last semester. And don't get more than four, guys. That's another thing. Don't get more than four classes. It will set you up for failure because you'll get stressed out if you are not the type of person that can do that.
And you would say just in your freshman year too, you get used
Especially,
to it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would just say in your freshman year, don't do that because this is like a brand new experience. This is different than high school. This is not the same as high school, guys. So it is very important that you try to make sure like have things set in place for yourself that in that you harbor less stress on yourself, especially because that stress aspect like really comes into play.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. So, what failure or embarrassing moment turned out to be something good for you this year?
Let me see.
This freshman year, rather.
Uh, um, well, I would honestly say the dorm situation, to be honest, because the dorm that I was in, Centerpoint, like I said, there's no separation between you and that person you're living with, which is basically a stranger. So coming into that second dorm that I'm in right now, it's much different actually. It's kind of like it's more of an apartment than that last one. It's a full-size fridge. There's
Mhm.
actually counter space and a kitchen sink, microwave and all of that. And then but you and your roommate have what is it? You're actually on separate rooms apart from that. So they have a door and then you have a door. and you come into your room. My room's a little bit bigger, on like the bigger side than that, which was amazing to find out. And I also have two beds instead of one, so it's kind of like a king size.
Hmm.
And then I have a bathroom sink and more desk space, and it's really great. So what I thought was a bad situation, what it was a bad situation, it turned out to be into something more amazing for myself.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
So, how did freshman year change you personally, academically, and socially?
Mm. Well, personally, it what is it? I'll combine the personally and the socially because that's kind of one and the same. In my experience, it taught me that well, you told me to stop internalizing other people's emotions, and I tried my best to carry that with me because that's what really got me a lot in high school, which like what's it called? I what is it? I harbored a little bit of like a savior complex in some sort of way, but I needed to tell myself people got to figure things out by themselves, and you cannot help someone who doesn't want to help themselves.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you got there because this is something that you probably learned from me.
Mm-hmm.
I am a person that is very giving. You know, community is one of, if it could be a love language, it would be my love language. I'm all about, helping other people, but I realize that lots of people are not, some people are not deserving
Mm-hmm.
of what you have put into them, or what you're pouring into them.
Yeah.
So you first have to understand who people are. And even when they are deserving, they shouldn't be giving they shouldn't be allowing you to give more of yourself than you really have.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that you set boundaries. I know that we went through a couple of episodes where you were like, no, I took some time for myself. I needed to do this. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that I was very strong on when I was raising you, like just to kind of, like, you came first. I
Yeah.
didn't put any friendships or relationships over you. I didn't have them. I didn't have relationships because I wanted to make sure that I dedicated that time to you. And it's the same concept, right? Just making sure that you're pouring in more into yourself than you are to other people so that you can be more to those people.
Yeah.
And then setting boundaries is something that I was never taught, but I taught you to set boundaries,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Because the main thing is that if your cup is half empty, I mean, both you pour into somebody else, y'all both got half a cup.
Yeah, it's the nothing of the nothing,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I can see your growth. I can see your glow. I can see, from senior year of high school to, you're in your last year of your first semester of college. I see the growth, and I see the adjustments that we both made, and they're challenging to say the least, but were definitely we're better for it now.
Yeah.
Our relationship is stronger. You trust more. I feel like you trust more. You trust me more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm able to push away from the table and say, hey, Dave, figure it out. If you need me, I'm here, but I really want you to figure out
Mm-hmm.
some things, right?
What is it? To add on to that, another thing college taught me is that it taught you who your real friends are, especially because in high school, like a lot of fake stuff going on there. So when you get into college, like there's no time for that because you really gotta like, I mean, you're there for school, like you're there to focus on your classes, so you really do not have time to like play.
Yeah.
So it really teaches you like who your closest like allies and friendships are and who is actually on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to be again back into the only child thing. Being an only child and like being by yourself, what is it? Um, it's kind of hard to like interact with other people if you hadn't had that from like what's it called, a young age.
Right. You didn't have anybody to share it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I did. I had siblings
Mm-hmm.
and we were very close, and then I had cousins that I was close to, and you didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
But I can say this, you not having anybody, you're still a person that is a giver, because a lot of only children are selfish, or they can be selfish. So you're a giver. You're still able to give, and that's the issue. You were giving too much
I
of
was giving
yourself.
way
You were
too much of
depleting
myself
yourself,
to the
right?
point where I had nothing left. Um,
Absolutely.
and my friends told me, like, they saw it actually, and they, what is it? It wasn't an intervention, it was sort of just like a talk that they had with me. You don't have to buy us, basically, is what they were saying. And you don't have to, what is it? like we're still gonna love you because we love you for you and who you are. That's how you really know who your real friends are because they're not gonna take advantage of you.
Absolutely. And I take a page from your book, and then I had to realize that because I'm a giver and I overgive.
Yeah.
And I've learned that enough about me. So let's get on the lighter questions. Let's
Mhm.
start to get into some fun stuff. A funniest or weirdest thing that happened to you in your first year?
Funniest or weirdest thing? Hmm. Let me think. Let me think.
We can come back to that question if you can think about it.
Um, no, I can say.
Okay.
What is it? Yeah. Probably, I mean, one funny instance was what is it? They have like free meals and everything in the what's it called? There's like a we have a work like a gym and a workout area and a game room kind of all in the same vicinity or at the time in the same vicinity. So there was like a mini like there's a little fridge full of like meals for people and it was just like, we're giving out these free meals for people who don't have them. And I was like, okay, cool. My friend Ashley and I were really excited because we were just like, oh my gosh,
We're
food. We
hungry.
were starving. We were so hungry.
Starving. Yes.
Yeah, so we got the meals. I think it was like chicken pot pie or something, and we are just like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Y'all about to dig in,
Uh-huh.
right?
And we went to the what's it called? We went to go heat it up in like another building, and when it came out the microwave, it looked so nasty. It's like, what is
It's
this?
like disgusting.
Yeah.
What about the story when you y'all went to your first party?
Oh, that's yeah. Okay. I'll share that one too. My friends Ash and Teddy, we went to a party together, a little college party. Should have known it wouldn't have really been that good because it was actually run by the college. So we got there. All the snacks were basically gone. All they had was s'mores. The music was kind of bad.
What song
It
did
was
they play?
mid. I don't even remember. That's how
It was like a country song or something like
it was.
that.
Cotton Eye Joe.
I know, you told
They
me.
were playing Cotton Eye Joe. To which like no hate on Cotton Eye Joe, but that's not really party music.
No, it's not a party
Yeah.
song. Yeah, that's a little bit much.
And yeah, so I was bored. And
Yeah.
my friend Anna was there, to which love Anna. So we both were just like, I think I wanna go.
Right, right.
Anna and I at the time, Anna still lives in the same place. She lived 2 doors down from me. So I was just like, we're gonna walk back. Let me walk you back to your dorm and then I'm gonna go to mine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did.
Okay. So, craziest dorm story you feel comfortable sharing?
Oh yeah, I feel comfortable. Craziest dorm story. So my roommate, we glossed over it just a little bit. So
Mhm.
she basically had a guest over and she told me about it. But I was trying to watch a movie with some of my friends on the phone and I turn around and her and this random man, this intoxicated man,
Mhm.
she's also intoxicated by the way,
Mhm.
are doing something very inappropriate in
Mhm.
front of my eyes and they felt like they were burning.
Oh wow.
And I was like, is this real? So I kept like, because the way her mirror was pointed, it was towards the sink. That's where they were doing it.
Mhm.
So I could literally see everything. So I tried to like look away, but then I just started like, I bursted out into tears and I was just like quietly
Wow.
crying.
Yeah, not a good feeling.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap up, but my last question to you is: if you could redo your first year, what would you change, if anything?
Mm, I would definitely bring more snacks with me.
Oh, for real, Dang.
Yes,
I'm talking
because
about just from a perspective of
mhm,
classes, and that's where your mind went,
it
Max.
did.
I'm so mad.
No, no, no. Hear me
No,
out. Let me
what would you
cook.
change as far as your classes, your experiences, something on that level?
I would, it's like, I would try to, wouldn't say be wary of people, but it's just like try to be realistic about how people are going to interact with you, is what I would take, is because, like, not everybody's your friend.
Right.
Not everybody is your friend.
I'm a grown woman, and I still battle with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's like for people, because there are some people who don't have friends even at this point in their life, don't settle for what's it called? Because I tried to welcome everybody who came to me and I would think is a friend. And I thought that for a long time. But it's just like if somebody is showing you that they don't care about you, like quick little story. My roommate had me walk to Walmart twice, and Walmart is an hour and about 40 minutes away. So
Mm,
that should really tell you that if someone is having you do stuff like that, especially, they're not your friend.
right.
And be very realistic about, like, what is it? Like, you can, for some people, manifesting works. Manifest, like, what is it called? Having, like, good things come to you. Honestly, that works a lot of the time for me. And if you're struggling, another good piece of advice is to just, even if you can't, like, just try to be positive. It's not being fake. It's literally just like you're hoping and praying that like good things are going to come to you. And when you put that good energy out, it comes back to you, and then it's not about disappointing yourself if it doesn't happen, but it's just like, well, darn, maybe
Right.
next time.
Right. And you're optimistic. It allows you to be optimistic and understand that sometimes things don't happen for a reason at that time. Maybe you're not ready for it.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just not your time. Maybe that person's not good for you. That is involved in the situation. And I just had this conversation with a friend earlier today, and I was saying to him about their perspective on certain things and certain people in their life, and they were upset about. I'm just to tell you the story. They were upset about a relationship that they had, and the person they were involved with had pictures, and they deleted the pictures that they had together off of their phone,
Hmm.
and uh, and so he was like, I'm just going to go ahead and delete their pictures off of my phone. And I said, well, how do their pictures make you feel? He said, I enjoy the memories of the relationship.
Hmm.
So I said, why would you delete them off of your phone if you enjoy the memories?
Yeah.
I said, maybe that person deleted off of their phone because you guys broke up and seeing the pictures does something to them.
Hmm.
So maybe that's how they're coping with it. But if you look at the pictures and you get happiness and it makes you nostalgic and it gives you good memories because those were good memories, don't match energy. Do what's best for you. If that makes you feel better, do that. Don't match that person's energy.
Hmm.
And he said, you know what? Thank you for that. Because you're right. I like the pictures. I said, don't get in your feelings. And you know what I said to him? I said, it's none of your business what someone else feels about you. And I had to learn that. It's not my business. If you don't like me anymore, if you don't feel that feeling for me, it's not my business. I don't choose to have a negative uh, thought process about that because it will rob me of my good memories of that situation. So I appreciate that you have that sentiment as well. Like
Yeah.
you choose to be positive. You're operating in the positive. It's hard sometimes.
Hmm.
I know for me, I want to be retaliative to people like they did that to me. I want to show them. I
Yeah.
do sometimes. And I'm like, that's not cool. And I get like that. I'm like, what? No, they did that to me. No, that's not always the right way because people, you don't know. I always say you don't know what a person is going through
Hmm.
and why they're reacting that way. So we can't match energies because you may be at a different level emotionally than that person. So I appreciate that you understand that.
I have a little nugget for the audience. What I do a lot of the time is like, especially if I'm in like, what is it called? Maybe an argument or like a altercation with someone, it's best to really, what is it called? Take a step back from the situation. What I like to do is I just will literally put music on or I'll like watch, what is it, YouTube or something for maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. And I come back to the situation and like I'm thinking on it while I'm also doing these things to think about, is this it's not even about who is in the wrong, it's about how do I approach the situation. Because for me, I can be very spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
And I what is it? I kind of like being spiteful sometimes, but that's not a good way to be.
Mm-mm.
It's genuinely not a good way to be because it
No,
like yeah, that's it
it,
doesn't do
it
any
hurts
good.
you
It
more.
hurts you more.
And if,
Yeah.
if you're and being transparent is, I heard something today about transparency, being honest versus being transparent.
Hmm.
You can be honest, and honesty is not something that really, you know, makes you a true person or makes you loyal,
Yeah.
right? But transparency does because you're able to show people who you are and why you chose to do that. So it's more proactive. In
Mm-hmm.
other words, being transparent is more proactive. Being honest is something that you may be forced to be after the fact. But if you're transparent, you generally come in with
Mm-hmm.
disclaimers.
Yeah, it's that aspect of like genuineness
Yes,
that you
it
bring.
is.
Yeah.
And you're putting disclaimers out there. And so I generally like to lead with transparency.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always everybody else's approach. I tried to teach you that. I tried to teach you about positivity and what it does for you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you coming on the show and spending
Yeah,
this
of
time with
course.
us and talking to us. We're looking forward to seeing you grow more and hearing more about your college chronicles
Mm-hmm.
and things that you've experienced. And hopefully in the next coming year, we can have you on the show
Try to
again.
say I'll be back next year.
Yeah, just kind of get your thoughts. I like that you like school, and I like that you appreciate what it gives you, and it allows you to go to another phase in your life so that you can see, where your growth from start to finish,
Because
going from start to
it's
finish.
not scary. New isn't scary. It doesn't have to be.
No.
It can just be literally a new step. And I'm glad I took this new step because I literally found my cat Queso and I love him.
Yeah, yeah. And you found some new friends
Found some
and
new friends, yeah.
you found a new community
Mm-hmm.
and it's really good for you. So I appreciate again you coming on the show and I wish you the best in your future endeavors and more to come, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk It Out and Find Out. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Be sure to subscribe by hitting the follow button or wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. We'll be back next week with more great content. See you then.